George Marvin, my grandfather, came to Warroad in 1903. As Canada was tying East Coast to West Coast at the turn of the century, his job was to construct and be a part of building elevators. George Marvin came here to this little community of Warroad to build a grain elevator. Shortly thereafter, he married, and they had 6 children.
My grandfather, William S. Marvin, was called back home after college to help his dad run the elevator and cedar company after his brother became sick. And it was at that point where my grandpa saw opportunity to expand the business, or at least provide employment for people during the winter months. And the idea came to create Barn Sash. So that became the origin of what is now Marvin Windows and Doors.
My father was approached by a gentleman by the name of Harry York, who was an employee of our retail lumberyard, who had a background in furniture making in St. Paul. And he told my dad that he could build frames and that housing could then take off. The development and the growth of the company in the very early years was determined by the marketplace of what few customers we had and what they wanted.
There is this culture and this heritage that continues. It's really interesting to observe and to hear the stories that they have of the past, and taking a lot of those lessons from the past and applying them to the future, as lessons learned. I think, you definitely learn by observation, and one of the things that definitely has been a big part of us is just the idea of working and a work ethic. And you put your time in and you work hard, and from that there's results.
It's something that everyone kind of lives by, or they demonstrate. It's really the actions. And I think, and I see that with my dad, my aunts and my uncles, my cousins, and even my sisters.
My grandfather and my father built a company that was strong and stayed strong when it passed into the 3rd generation, my generation. I know my brothers and I, when we're making decisions day in and day out, are doing our very best to make sure they're the right decision, not just for today, but for long into the future. We want this company to be as strong and prosperous when it passes to the 4th generation and the 5th generation as our father made sure it was when it came to our generation. I don't know what the future will hold, and certainly this business and windows and doors and this industry will look very different, maybe even in just 10 short years. But what I do believe is that those things that made us successful in the last 100 years are the very same things that will make us successful going forward. Things such as valuing people and their contributions, responding to the customer and their needs, listening and listening carefully, conducting yourself with integrity, doing what you say you're going to do, treating people the way you want to be treated. These are things that the people in this company do day in and day out. This group of people doing those sorts of things and more have created magic.